Welcome to Love and Dialogue, the podcast where love speaks. I'm Tristan.
And I'm Brianna. We're so excited to have you join us as we explore the ups, downs, and all the in-betweens of relationships in all forms, whether it's with a partner, a friend, or family.
Whether you're here for heartfelt stories, honest advice, or just a good laugh, you're in the right place.
Relationships come in all varieties and dynamics, and we're on this journey together, sharing our experiences and learning along the way.
Every week, we dive into real conversations about what it takes to build and nurture meaningful connections in our lives.
So let's dive in together and see where this love-filled journey takes us, no matter what kind of relationship you're navigating.
Thanks for tuning in to Love and Dialogue. Let's get started. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to Love and Dialogue with your hosts, Tristan and the beautiful
Brianna.
What do we got for the folks today, Bree?
All right, guys. So today we are going to talk a little bit about things that we have had to shift or change to love each other better and to improve our relationship.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what does that entail?
Yeah, I just think that there is a big shift when you are operating as a solo person, right? And when you move into the partnership piece.
Okay.
And I feel like it requires a certain level of mindset shift. And I don't even know that it is like instant, right? I think it's more gradual, and there's things that you learn along the way that you may need to shift or change about yourself. And I feel like being in a relationship, not only you go into a relationship, obviously you want to move into a relationship as whole as possible, right?
Yep.
But you also recognize that when you go into a relationship believing that you are completely whole, right? There are things that you may have learned or that could be relearned or changed to adjust, to improve your partnership.
So, as you say that piece, would you say that mindset should start like when I send that first text for the first date? Or should it be like 3 to 6 months down? We're continuing to talk. We know that you're my person, I'm your person type of energy. Or is it like, when we get to the point and say like, would I marry this person? So like, at what part upon those phases of a relationship would you say that kind of thought process works?
Yeah, I think it's really individualized, but do I think that you need to have some sort of idea or at least some sort of development done within yourself before doing all of that? 100%. You need to know who you are, and you need to have done the work truly and like make the commitment that this is what your next step is. Because I
Sure.
think a lot of what happens sometimes is, and I can't even say that I think for our relationship, if we want to get into it, is like for me, you surprised me. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't say that I was looking for a relationship at that time. I had just got out of a really bad relationship and I wasn't necessarily looking. But I also had to open myself up to the possibility like, oh snaps, like this feels different.
Yeah.
This is a different experience, and be open to that.
It was a timing thing for sure because I always told myself, when I talked to my mom and just friends, just in general, I was like, I'm not gonna be ready for a relationship till I'm ready to figure out that I've achieved everything that I need to get to that point. It's not fair for me to still be finding myself and to bring another person on, try to be in a relationship together, and it it just looked like it was gonna be a recipe for failure. So the timing was perfect. I found myself, I got stable in my career. I felt like I could transition to be a partner for someone. I said, once I figured myself out, I could be a good partner to someone. If I'm still figuring myself out, how can I give you 100% if I don't even give myself 100%? So
Yeah.
that was the biggest piece.
Yeah. No, I think you were definitely more intentional. Whereas I feel like for me, I think I've told you this before. I've always been the girl that's been ready too soon. Like I've always been like, you're great, but I wish I met you later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for me, I've always been, I think, relationship oriented or ready for a relationship and ready to provide in that way. Because it's a part of my like being and how I am. So I would say that I didn't have to do that necessary prep work because I feel like I've already embodied that. Like I am a
Sure.
caretaker. I enjoy that is how I provide love. That's how I receive love. I love showing people how I feel about them by taking care of them or being there for them or, in doing it. And that those roles feel good for me. So I don't necessarily think that it was a big shift for me or I had to necessarily prepare myself. But I will say that I have learned a lot about myself by being with you for sure.
Yeah, same on my end. There's things that I'm doing that I wouldn't really ever fathom the
Yeah.
idea. Like, if you go back 10 years and say you're gonna be doing this in 10 years, I'm like, no chance.
Yeah.
But it's fulfilling. And I love what we've created for ourselves, and
Mhm.
to be able to give that philosophy or thoughts back to others to see how they can emulate it for themselves. That just makes it even that much more great. So, um, it's a journey, right? At the end
Yeah.
of the day, it's always a journey. But I think the what you talked about communication, what we talked about communication is the biggest piece of it all. And
Mhm.
without that, you really don't have nothing to build on.
Yeah. But I think as we talk about so many times, and I'm sure this is not the last time we'll talk about this, but communication is such a broad term. It means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I mean, I think our biggest, I won't say our biggest hurdle, but something that I've had to learn, and also you have had to learn in our communication and how we communicate with each other is that I am sensitive and I tend to take things, I wouldn't say literal, but even when you are being sarcastic, I don't see the need for being sarcastic. So I don't receive what you're
Yeah.
saying in the way that you always mean it, right? And that is something I think you've had to learn, but I have also had to adjust that like he doesn't mean harm by what he's saying. So I've had to like transition my thought from like he's saying this to be harmful to just like this is who he is and he's just trying to be funny and it's okay to be funny. Like and not take it all as personal attack.
Try to make the light of the most of the situation, because sometimes a situation could be at the point where, like, it could take a turn for worse or it could take a turn for worser. So, like, it's more of just like, you just bring a light to it. Let's bring us back to an even keel and let's have a conversation. And there's like, at times, I'll say something and like, I'll have the quick rapid response in my brain and be like, that could have been said better. And I immediately be like, what I meant to say.
Mhm.
Sometimes those go a long way. Like, you could say what you want to say, but it could come across, because the delivery is everything, right?
Yeah.
How you deliver something is a big point of how someone can reciprocate how you
Mhm.
feel, what your intentions are. So, like, if you felt, and that's more like self awareness, right?
Mhm.
If you feel you're doing something or you could look at a person's facial expression and say, "Oh, they didn't take that well," be humble to the point that you can look within and be like, "I didn't mean it the way you're taking it."
Yeah.
You say that right off the bat, everything is nipped, and you've helped the situation become better than what it could have been. And
Mhm.
I just think just doing those little pieces could go a long way. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we've embodied,
Yeah.
or at least me personally.
Yeah.
I've embodied seeing like, all right, I'm aware of my surroundings. I'm aware of my audience. And if
Mhm.
I'm doing things that, is making their faces go a certain way where, like, oh, this is not favorable. Let me go back to tell you what I meant to say, deliver it better, peachy.
Yeah. No, I think you hit the nail on coffin. Is that what they say? But I think delivery, right? And I think something that always comes back for me is like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
I can pretty much digest anything, any type of criticism, if I feel like it's coming from a place of love, coming from a place of wanting me to be better, coming from a place of care. But when I feel like it's coming from a place and again, your tone and how you deliver it
Mhm.
like affects that. So if I feel like it's coming from a place of like you're trying to talk down on me or if I'm feeling like, it's not necessarily um again, you can disagree with me.
Yeah.
That's fine, right? But it's how you let me know that you're disagreeing with me is what
Yeah.
matters, you know?
Yeah, some people could be a condescending asshole, so,
Yeah.
it's trying not to be the
Condescending. That's the word I was searching for. Yes. Don't be condescending. I do not respond well to that at all. Yeah.
It's like belittling a person, and
Yeah.
no one wants to be belittled, no matter what your status quo is. Like, no one wants to be belittled. And like, take that into your relationship. Like, if you're
Mhm.
my partner and I'm gonna love you unconditionally, I should reciprocate that to you. I shouldn't be treating you like
Mhm.
you're the last piece of meat over there that no one wants.
Yeah.
That, but that gets us nowhere. It doesn't help the sustainability of our relationship. And at the end of the day, if that just shows we're not bought into each other.
Yeah.
So, it's just doing those little things could create a bigger situation that helps us all.
Can I tell so like a little thing that I recognize for myself is because I have been so independent, I think, for so long and I've been the go-getter, get my stuff done, you know what I mean? That I had to shift from like he you're trying to be protective of me versus you're trying to belittle me, right? It was a mindset shift for me of like, like when we're walking sometimes and you're trying to like, did you look across the street? I'm like across the street every single day without you. You know what I mean? But I have to pause myself for a moment, be like, it's because he cared. It's because you are protecting and you don't want anything bad to happen to me. And so when I pause for a moment and like shift to that mindset, then it's helpful for me because I'm like, then I'm not receiving it as you critiquing me. Because then my initial response is like, I have to walk every day. Like, why are you all up on me? Like, let me live.
I can independent. I can take care of myself. I don't need a person.
Yeah.
And we both are that type of way, but I think that's that shift from going from me to us, right? That
Yeah.
mindset shift. Like when you first go into a relationship, before you get into a relationship, everything is me. I need to make sure I'm happy. I need to make sure I'm taken care of. I need to make sure I'm getting things done to achieve what I need to achieve, or just not caring about the world other than me.
Yeah.
And then like you get in a relationship, for it to be real meaningful is that shift to us. Now I got to think about like, how can I help us be happy? How can I help us make it to where we need to be? What can I do at my part in the partnership to make sure I am doing what we need to do for us to be where we need to be to achieve all our goals? So it's that dynamic shift in mindset that you have to have. And a lot of folks, it takes a while to get there. It's not easier said than done, granted. But to be successful in a relationship, you have to have that mindset of shifting from me to us. Because
Mhm.
if you're not doing us, then what are we doing here?
Yeah, literally. And I think, I'm sure this will be another topic that we can also touch upon later on, but like finances, you know what I mean? That's something that I feel like, I had to help you kind of in the idea of like shifting from me to us, right? Like we operate very differently when it comes to finances, but we've come together to find something that's worked for us because again, we shifted from this is just me and this is my money to this is our money and how are
Yeah.
we going to grow this money? And I feel like after many conversations that we've had, that we've been able to shift towards that mindset of like, I'm going to have you sometimes, you're going to have me sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's our future that we're working towards. And I feel like once we made that shift, we've been, so much better since.
And at the grand scheme, we have each other. So
Yeah.
that's what it comes down to. And honestly, since you've come into my world, I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Not more of just not from what you bring into the table from a job occupation standpoint, but more for how you're helping me manage my dollar better.
Hmm.
And it's been astronomical, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Shout out to my grandma. She taught me all my things related to finances. She told me when I was little, like, if you get a credit card, just pay it off. What are you keeping it for? Like, that's how you build your credit. And she said things like, your credit is who you are to everyone
What
else.
happens when you dig yourself too deep?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, if you got the credit guru and you're like, I mean, there's easy to keep yourself from getting there by paying it off, but what if situations happen and it's a conundrum of on and on to the point where now, I'm deep, I'm paying it off. I'm not delinquent on my payments, but it's more of a struggle to
Interest
pay.
rates
Yeah.
are real.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
like, do I just not eat for a month just to make sure I take care of everything? Like, how would someone go about that?
Is the drama. That is so dramatic. You don't need to not eat, but you need to take a look at your overall plans, right? And look at all the credit cards that you have and assess your interest rates within each one because the ones that has the highest, that's the one you need to focus on first. You need to pay that off because you're probably paying extra money that you don't even if you're paying just the minimum on your credit cards every single month and you have high interest rates, you're not doing anything.
No.
You're literally digging yourself into a further
I
hole.
saw something that had came across as an example, and it was like if you had X couple $1,000s, I think it was like 3 or 4. And if you just did minimums on that over 10 years, it would take you 10 years just doing the minimum to pay it off, and you would still have like a couple of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. So, my biggest thing is you have to pay more than the minimum. Always. Always. If you find yourself in like a big, hole in your credit card and stuff like that, you have to prioritize getting that down. And I think my overall thought process is like the faster I pay this off is the faster I get this money back in my pocket.
Sure.
And I'm not continuing to pay for stuff that I already paid for. This is not any shade because I know we are all in different financial situations and
Right.
life is crazy and it throws things at you. But I think when you open up your eyes and open up your lens to different ways of living, it is helpful. You know what I mean?
Right. And it's all about getting to that point, right? But it's good to have people in your corner that have that type of education and knowledge of the whole subject on how about to be better financially savvy. That goes a long way. So if two people are in a relationship and they're financially savvy, go couple.
Yeah.
If one person is, you still have a chance to survive. If
That's hope.
both are just unresponsible with the financial piece,
Yeah.
good luck to you.
No, I mean that for real, if I'm being honest, I definitely operate well between YOLO, you have one life to live, to I could die tomorrow.
It's
Or
not
it's
promised.
not
And you have
promised.
to, and it's a gray area that you have to like really conceptualize within yourself, like understanding, yes, I need to pay that stuff, but you also need to be respective of you and your time of where you are on this earth and just be like, I want to go have fun with my partner. I want to go have fun with myself. I want to take care of this. But you know that the priorities are taken care of.
Yeah.
That's like the responsible way of having fun. But overall, save money. There's a bigger future other than tomorrow, but you never know, right? Like you said, you never know if tomorrow's promised.
You never know if tomorrow's promise. And I think you just have to somehow find that middle ground. And I think that's what we're working on. I think living through experiences are really big for me. I'm not big on buying a bunch of stuff and, whatever. I mean, that's not true. We have a lot of stuff, which we have to work on. But the point of the matter is that, when you're in a relationship, there are a lot of things that you have to shift and change to grow and learn about each other, to love each other more effectively. And I think, we're obviously still very early in our journey on this. We're married, of course, and we've been together for a good amount of time. But I think I think I can say that I still learn something definitely each year, each day, each time we have an experience about how I can do it differently and how I can grow and evolve, to make our relationship better.
And that's powerful. Guys, we would love to hear how you guys handle your relationships, how you go about communicating, how you go about shifting from me to us. Please share it in the comments. We would love to hear what you have for us. Yet again, we are your hosts, Tristan and the Beautiful.
Rihanna.
Thank you for joining us. Love and dialogue.